Here with another YouTube video, and in case you cannot tell by the title below, this video will be a video where I share my thoughts and opinions on someone or something going on in this wacky weird wrestling world. As you can tell by the title below, this one will be a video where I share my honest thoughts and opinions on the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, multiple time champion in, I'm pretty sure, every single major promotion that he's been in: Ring of Honor, AEW, WWE. I know that he's held only one championship in AEW, but I'm throwing it in all together. And when it comes to Bryan Danielson, would love to know what your thoughts and opinions are on him down in the comments below. And he is one of those guys, for myself personally, that, don't get me wrong, I like and enjoy what he's been doing in WWE or AEW primarily, but I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of him. I know that I could say that, oh, I really liked his work in Ring of Honor watching it back, but it's not the same as being there. When I say live, I mean being a Ring of Honor fan in the 2000s when Bryan Danielson was there. Yeah, I can go watch him on DVD, but it's not the same. And when it comes to Danielson, he is one of those guys, for myself personally, I mean this in the absolute best way possible. He's a good representation overall on the good of not only major, when I say major wrestlers, I mean mainstream wrestlers: Bryan Danielson, John Cena, The Rock, Batista, this guy, that guy, the other guy, kind of deal. The kinds of wrestlers the casual fans would know. He's a good representation on that, not only from an on-ring, or when I say on-ring, I mean in-ring standpoint on television, but it's, by all accounts, he's a good human. But when it comes to Danielson, I will fully admit I'm not necessarily the biggest fan, supporter, mark of him. Again, I'm not saying that he's a bad wrestler. You could argue that he is. Actually, I would argue that he's top 3 in North American wrestling: Canada, US, Mexico, even though I don't follow Mexican wrestling. But I'm not the biggest fan, because I know that there's other people, whether it's on this platform, other social media platforms, or more importantly, real life, that would or have spent their money on him in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's something relatively small, like buying a merchandise thing from him, t-shirts, DVDs, that kind of stuff, went out of your way to meet him at some form of a meet and greet, paid your hard-earned money to go see him live and wrestle in person. I've bought some of his merch. I have went to shows, or at least one show that he was on, but he wasn't the reason why I went. Never met him, would love to meet him. He's one of the few guys that I would legitimately pay the $200, $250, $300 Canadian to meet him at a WrestleMania Access kind of deal, because by all accounts, 1, he's a good human; 2, he's a good human to meet and whatnot, no matter what age you are. And when it comes to Danielson, even though, like I said, I'm not necessarily the biggest fan, supporter, mark, whatever terminology you would want to use, I'm not that towards him, but I will always appreciate him, because he was, I don't know for sure if this makes sense, he's not the most influential independent wrestler turned WWE superstar. I would say CM Punk is for that, but he's kind of that really good bridge in between the CM Punk in the 2000s and guys like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in the 2010s. He's kind of the really good in-between guy in WWE. His run in AEW, it's been, I mean this in a good way, kind of what I expected from him in the ring standpoint. Has he been one of my favorite wrestlers in AEW history? Personally, probably not. 5 years down the road, I won't look back and be like, man, Bryan Danielson, one of my favorites overall. But he'll be, during this kind of stint that he, from his debut at, I think it was All Out 2021 up until 2024, it's been gosh darn good matches, one after the other, on gosh darn good matches are kind of like the low, and the amazing generational kind of matches are on like the ceiling kind of deal. But yeah, those are my thoughts and opinions on Bryan Danielson. Would love to know what your thoughts are on him down in the comments below.